which verse we were there? We were in which verse?
79, Mataji. 7.79.
Once we finish Adilila, we'll start with Chaitanya Bhagavat Adilila. I was just thinking about this. This is time is there, 336 verses are there. I will do slowly, there's no hurry about it. These are the very important aspects. Sometimes we tend to forget these leelas also. So what happens is when we do this Adi Leela again from Chaitanya Bhagavat, then it will be again refreshing us. So 79th verse. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is expressing here, Krishna Kaviraj Goswami is expressing the humility of Murari Gupta. That hearing the quotation from Murari Gupta, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is extremely pleased. Now one day Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed Sankirtan with all his devotees. And they were completely fatigued. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sankirtan was like a Ras dance and it was equivalent to Ras dance. Ekadina Prabhu Sabha Bhakta Ganalana Sankirtana Kori Vaishe Shramayuktahana. So one day Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed Sankirtan with all his devotees. And when they were greatly fatigued, they all sat down. So Sankirtan here refers to not only chanting but also dancing in great ecstasy. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he taught us to even dance in great ecstasy. And when we are fatigued, then immediately what we should do? We should sit down. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taught everything, that when a person is fatigued, then you should sit down. Not that when you are fatigued, then you do more and more. That time we should sit down. So that devotee is also sat down. And then when they sat down, the Lord then sowed a mango tree in the yard because they were hungry also. It's a very wonderful leela. Even today also that it is said that mango tree is still existing. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sowed a mango seed. And the seed fructified into a tree immediately because they were all tired. And they wanted to have some nice prasad. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately thought there can be no better fruit than a mango, which can immediately remove one's tiredness or one's fatigueness. So then, as the people looked on, the tree became fully grown with fruits that fully ripened. Thus, everyone was struck with wonder. Dekhite dekhite vriksha haila padita palita pakila aneka phala sevai vishmita. So, eka amra bija prabhu angane ropila tat shane janmila vriksha badila takila. So, in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he sowed a seed of mango. Immediately, to the wonder of the people, this tree just grew and started giving the fruits. Shatadoi phala prabhu shigra padaila. Prakshalana tori Krishna bhoga lagaila. Immediately Chaitanya Mahaprabhu picked up 200 fruits. And after washing them, he offered them to Krishna to eat. You see, 200 fruits. Such a huge mango tree came immediately. So Lord can do anything and everything. That is what is Krishna. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yogetti tatvataha. The fruits were all red and yellow with no seed inside and no skin outside. And eating one fruit will immediately fill a man's belly. That was the power of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mango tree. Such a reddish color fruits were there. And it is said, just by eating one fruit, everybody used to feel satisfied. Rakta Pita Varna, that was the color, Rakta Pita Varna. Nahi Ashti Valkala. Ashti means seed. Vaikala means, Valkala means skin. There was no seed, no skin. And you say, what is this type of fruit? No seed, no skin. Eka janera peta bhare, khaila eka phala. just by eating one, people will be satisfied. That means there was nothing to throw. In India, mango is considered best when it is red and small. Its seed is very small, its skin is very thin, and it's so palatable that if a person eats one fruit, he will be satisfied. The mango is considered the king of all fruits. So, what type of seed? Seed it is such a small seed that you don't have to throw it. And what type of skin? Very small skin that you can chew it. देखिया संतुष्ट हैला शचीर नंदन सबाके खायोला खायोयाल आगे करिया भक्षण. Seeing the quality of the mangoes, the Lord was greatly satisfied. And thus, after eating first, he fed all the other fruits. That is how first bhoga is given to Lord. Everything is given by Lord, and that it goes to Lord, and then Lord distributes to everyone. अस्थिवल्कर नाही अमृत रसमय एक फल खाइले रसे उदर पुरा पुरय. The fruits had no seeds or skins. They were full of nectarian juice and were so sweet that a man would be fully satisfied by eating only one. Yai mata pratidina phale baramasa Vaishnava khayena phala purpolasa. Now this fruit grew on the tree every day throughout the 12 months of the year, and the Vaishnavas used to eat them to the Lord's great satisfaction. So wonderful. Whole year this fruit is to come. Yai sabalila kare sachira nandana. So what are these confidential leelas? These are the confidential leelas. Anya loka nahi jane bina bhaktagana. So others, other than devotees, no one knows about these incidents. Non-devotees cannot believe this incident. Yet the place where the tree grew still exists in Mayapur. It is called Amraghat. Amaghat. So we had gone there. The yatra was there. Amraghat. Amraghat or Amaghat. Yai mata baramasa kirtana vasthane Amra Mahotsava Prabhu. In this way, the Lord performed Sankirtan every day. And at the end of Sankirtan, there was a mango eating festival every day for 12 months. Beautiful Sankirtan. On principle, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would distribute prasadam at the end of Kirtan performances. Similarly, the members of the Krishna conscious movement must distribute some prasadam to the audience after performing Kirtan. This is very important. After the Kirtan festival, there should be distribution of prasadam. Then only there is a festival. When you say Sankirtan, it is an yajna. Even see after the yajna, people distribute prasadam. So Sankirtan is a Mahayajna. So it is very important to distribute prasadam. And that is how the members of Krishna conscious movement, they contribute also for the prasadam distribution. And prasadam distribution is nothing but distribution of mercy of Krishna. It is said everyone should contribute for it. Because somebody told me, oh Mataji, if I see my balance sheet, I find that I have donated so much to ISKCON. Then I told, true. And if you see your balance sheet, the expenditure you are seeing there, but in the income you should see how much Krishna is giving us. So when we are taking something, we should always remember two people, Brahmana and Gomata. If we remember these two and utilize our income in a proper way, then understand there will be no shortage in the house. Go Brahmana Hitaya Jagaditaya Krishna Govindaya Namo Namaha. So that is very important. The moment your income comes in the house, first thing without asking is Nitya Seva. First thing without asking is Go Seva. You have to do this. If we do this, if we have this habit, there will be no shortage in the house. And that is a guarantee. Sometimes we think, what will happen if I donate? Nothing. The pot will be filled more and more. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement is distribution of prasadam, and there is no tree which will give you dal, rice, sabji. Everything has to come with the Lakshmi only. And Lakshmi comes with the sincere and the committed devotees of that particular temple. So that is why Nitya Seva, without asking, it should not happen that Nitya Seva is asked. No, it should happen. Some part of our portion should go for Nitya Seva. That means there are people who are coming every day to temple, and every day prasadam distribution is happening. Every evening it is happening. Every day in Goshala, children are fed. Every day cows are fed. So these portions should automatically go. You should keep it inside. And there are festivals in between where again the contribution is required. So we should always be prepared that we have to distribute and distribute our income in such a way that Goshala children, Goshala, Jagannath Central Mission happens very nicely. The construction happened nicely. That means that is why Krishna is giving money. You see, there are so many people who lost their jobs, but somehow Krishna has protected the devotees. There are so many who are suffering also. If you see in the Vedic culture, people used to always do sacrifice, lot of donations. And because of that, even though there were 10 children in the house, there was no shortage. There was no shortage for anything. That is why in the olden days, people never had any credit card, debit card, this loan, that loan. They had big houses also. They used to feed everyone. Right from a dog, they used to feed. That much they had the heart to give. As and when the modernization started, the heart to accumulate started. Heart to give is not there. But Srila Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is emphasizing on this prasadam distribution, and which Krishna conscious movement has taken it very seriously. Somebody asked why we should give prasadam. We'll give some kela and wind up, na? Or we'll give some shakkar and wind up. That happens in other temples. They'll give some shakkar putana and they'll say, okay, ho gaya. They're going to take darshan and take some shakkar putana and come out. Our movement is not this. Our movement is Chaitanya movement. Chaitanya's movement is mercy movement. The more and more we distribute prasadam, the more and more people's consciousness will be purified. Day before yesterday, the owner of this place had come in the very present place here. The lawyer had come, and we had made a very wonderful prasadam. It was puri, sabji, kheer. I told, why don't you take a nice prasadam? Please have prasad. He said, no, I don't want. I said, why? No, we are going out to eat. At least he understood that if he takes prasadam, his consciousness will be purified, then he cannot enjoy the wine and the meat. So he understood that. But still, I told him, it doesn't matter. You take it. थोड़ा सा खीर दे देना. You take kheer, your chetana will be purified. One thing is there in the people who are not very serious in Krishna consciousness, they have that firm faith that Krishna prasadam will transform their heart. I was really happy to even hear that when he said, "No, I'm going out to eat. I cannot have prasad." I said, no, you have to have. Take some small kheer. Let your consciousness be purified and go. If your sakshi, if your manasakshi is allowing you, go and enjoy. Kirtana karite Prabhu aila, megagana panaichaya kaila, mega nivarana. Once while Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was performing kirtan, clouds assembled in the sky, and the Lord, by his own will, immediately stopped them from pouring rain. So this also wonderful Leela Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has done. Most of the Leelas, even devotees, are also reading for the first time. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by his own will, immediately stopped them from pouring. It is like Govardhan Leela. In this connection, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that once when Lord Chaitanya was performing Sankirtan a short way from the village, some clouds appeared overhead. By the supreme will of the Lord, the clouds were asked to disperse, and they did. Because of this incident, the place is still known as Megherachana. Since the course of the Ganga has now changed, the village of the name Belapukharia, which was formerly situated in a different place called Talavasa, has now become known as Megherachana. The Madhyakanda of Sri Lochana Das Thakur's Chaitanya Mangal also relates that once at the end of the day, when evening clouds assembled overhead and thundered threateningly. All the Vaishnavas were much afraid, but the Lord took his kartals in his hand and personally began chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, looking up towards the sky as if to direct the demigods and the higher planets. Thus all the assembled clouds dispersed. And as the sky became clear with the moon rising, the Lord began dancing very happily with his jubilant and satisfied devotees. एकदिन प्रभु शिवासेरे आज्ञा दिला बृहत् सहस्रनाम पड शुनिते मन हैला. One day the Lord ordered Shiva's Thakur to read Brihad Sahasranam, the 1,000 names of Lord Vishnu, for he wanted to hear them at that time. पढ़ीते ऐलास्तवे नरसिंह नाम शुनियाविष्ट हैला प्रभु गौरधाम. As he heard the 1,000 names of the Lord in due course, the holy name of Lord Narsimha appeared. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard the holy name of Lord Narsimha, he became fully absorbed in thought. So when Shiva's Thakur was reading Brihad Sahasranam, the time Narsimha name came, at the time he became completely absorbed. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was completely absorbed. The Chaitanya Mangal Madhyakanda describes this incident as follows. Srivastha Pandit was performing the Shraddha ceremony for his father, and as is customary, he was hearing the 1,000 names of Lord Vishnu. At that time, Gaurahari, Lord Chaitanya, appeared on the scene, and he also began to hear the 1,000 names of Vishnu with full satisfaction. When he thus heard the holy name of Lord Simha, Lord Chaitanya became absorbed in thought and he became angry. Like Narsim Prabhu, in his angry mood, his eyes became red. His bodily hair stood on end, all the parts of his body trembled, and he made a thundering sound. All of a sudden, he took up a club, and people became greatly afraid, thinking, we do not know what kind of offense we have committed. But then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu adjusted his thoughts and sat down on his seat. So in the mood of Narsimha, what he did, Narsimha Avesha Prabhu Hate Gada Lana. He took the club in his hand. Pashali Marite, Yaya Nagare. He ran in the city to kill the Atis. Pashandi Marite. Narsimha Avesha Dekhi Maha Tejomaya. Pata Chadi Bhage Loka Pana Bada Bhaya. So seeing him in a very fearful way, in the ecstasy of Lord Narsimha, people ran from the street and fled here and there, afraid of his anger. Loka bhaya dekhi prabhura bhaya heta. Shiva saghete giya gada filaila. When he saw people were so afraid, he came to his external consciousness. And then he returned to the house of Shiva's Thakur and threw away the club. Shiva se kahe na prabhu kariya vishada. Loka bhaya paya mora haya prada. He became very morose and said to Shivas, oh, when I adopted the mood of Narsimhadeva, people were very greatly afraid. Therefore, I stopped, since causing fear among the people is also an offense. Shivasa balena ye tomara nama halaya. Tara koti aparada saba hayakshaya. And Shivas Thakur replied, anyone who takes your holy name vanquishes 10 million of his offenses immediately. अपराध नाही कैले लोकेर निष्ठार ये तो मा देखिला तारत छुटीला संसार. When you appeared as Narsimha, when people saw, even when they are afraid also, there is no offense from your side. Anybody who saw this mood was immediately liberated from the bondage of material existence. Etabali Shivasa Karila Sevana Tushtahana Prabhu Aila Apana Bhavana. So in this way, Srivas Thakur worshipped the Lord, who was then greatly satisfied and returned to his own home. This also Leela children can do, Srivas Thakur Leela. In Srivas Angan, so many wonderful things happen. One is cursing the word Brahmana comes, is not allowed. he is cursed. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is cursed. One Leela is Narsimadev Leela. One Leela is Shiva's Thakur's son dies. At that time, everybody cries. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is dancing in ecstasy. Shiva's Thakur did not want them to disturb. So this Leela. And also Shiva's Thakur in the house of Shiva, the Angan of Shiva's Thakur, somebody kept the all Durga worship articles in that meat and all those, and in that wine and all was kept. So 4 Leelas at a time can be taken just in Shiva's Angan. You have to show a kutir, a beautiful kutir named Shiva's Angan. There is a Shiva, there is Shiva's Angan, there is Shiva's Thakur, there is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You can have Nityananda Prabhu. So in this way, beautiful pastimes can be made. Somebody can note it down. Somebody can note down. So this Leela, Narsimadev Leela, then you have Brahman Leela, you have that Vainka Leela, you have that Sanka Leela. So all these 4 Leelas on the day of 26th January, you all can plan out. Aradina Shiva Bhakta Shiva Purna Ghaya Prabhurangane Nache Damru Bajaya. On another day, a great devotee of Lord Shiva, chanting of Lord Shiva's qualities, came to Lord Chaitanya's house where he began dancing in the courtyard and playing his damru musical instrument. Mahesha Avesha Haila Sachiranandana Taras Kande Chadi Chadi Nritya Kaila Bahukshana. Immediately Chaitanya Mahaprabhu adopted the mood of Lord Shiva. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu loves Lord Shiva. That's why he has written a beautiful song, Shivashtakam. He got on the man's shoulders and thus they danced together for a long time. This Leela can be shown. Because many of the Leelas in Shiva's Angan is unknown to even the devotees also. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu adopted the mood of Lord Shiva, for he is Shiva only. For he is Shiva only. Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva. Lord Shiva is non-different from Lord Vishnu. But still Lord Shiva is not Lord Vishnu. But as yogurt is nothing but milk, and yet he is not milk nevertheless. So yogurt cannot be compared with milk, but if you say milk is yogurt, that is true. Milk contains yogurt. Yogurt also contains milk. It is yogurt which is made from the milk. So mulataha it is milk only. One cannot get the benefit of milk by drinking yogurt. Similarly, one cannot get salvation by worshipping Lord Shiva. If one wants salvation, one should worship, one must worship Lord Vishnu. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 9.4, Masthani Sarvabhutani Nachaham Tesho Astitaha. Everything is resting on the Lord, for everything is in energy, yet he is not everywhere. Lord Shiva is adopting the mood of Lord Shiva. Lord Chaitanya is adopting the mood of Lord Shiva. It's not extraordinary, but one should not therefore think that by worshipping Lord Shiva, one is worshipping Lord Chaitanya. That would be a mistake. Another 2 verses will take. Aradina Eka Bhikshuka Aila Magite Prabhura Nritya Deki Nritya Lagila Karite. A mendicant came to beg alms from the Lord's house, but when he saw Lord chanting, dancing, he also began to dance. He danced with the Lord because he was favored by love of Krishna. Thus he flowed in the mellows of love of Godhead. Prabhura Sange Nritya Kore Parama Ullasa Prabhutare Premadila Prema Rasa Rase Bhase. Bhase here refers to floating in the mellow of love of Godhead. So here we'll stop. So we have 4 past tense, 5 past tense now. Shiva's past tense also can be done. So I hope somebody is noting it down. Parina Mataji, please note down. Prepare the children from now. It is just next week, 26th January. Write small dialogues. Don't give them tension also. So that the devotees also can relish. There should be Lord Shiva taking the mood of Lord Shiva, Chaitanya taking the mood of Lord Shiva can be done. Keep it on the hold, but at least these 4 leelas can be. Nidhi Mataji, take Nidhi Mataji in your group. Parina Mataji, unmute yourself.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Dandavat
So